Today we are going to discuss about the topic CRO, that is cathode ray oscilloscope. This is also a syllabus topic present in your 5th unit, electrical measurement. You all have seen this CRO in our laboratories. The cathode ray oscilloscope actually is a type of electrical instrument which is used for analyzing waveforms in our laboratories. So we are going to discuss in detail about this cathode ray oscilloscope in the following slides. The contents of this presentation includes introduction, block diagram, working, and applications. As I said already, cathode ray oscilloscope is an electrical instrument which is used for showing the measurement and also for analyzing the waveforms and also other electronic and electrical phenomena. It is a very fast XY plotter. It helps in showing the input signal versus another signal or versus time. The CROs are used to analyze the waveforms, transient and also time varying quantities, even from a very low frequency range to the radio frequencies. So this is the basic block diagram of CRO. The main parts of the cathode ray oscilloscope are cathode ray tube, electronic gun assembly, deflecting plates, fluorescent screen for CRT, and finally glass envelope. The cathode ray tube is a vacuum tube. It converts the electrical signal into a visual signal. The cathode ray tube mainly contains an electron gun and the electrostatic deflection plates. Both the vertical and horizontal plates will be there. The electron gun produces a focused beam of the electron which is accelerated to high frequency. The vertical deflection plate moves the beam up and down, and the horizontal beam moves the electron beams left to right. These movements are independent to each other, and hence the beam may be positioned anywhere on the screen. The second part is the electronic gun assembly. The electron gun emits electrons and forms them into a beam. The electron gun mainly consists of a heater, a cathode, a grid, a pre-accelerating anode, a focusing anode, and an accelerating anode. For gaining high emission of electrons at moderate temperature, barium, and that is the layers of barium and strontium is deposited on the end of the cathode. After the emission of an electron from the cathode grid, it passes through the control grid. The control grid is usually a nickel cylinder with a centrally located coaxial with the CRT axis. It helps the intensity of the emitted electron from the cathode. The electron, while passing through the control grid, is actually accelerated by a high positive potential which is applied to the pre-accelerating or accelerating node. The electron beam is focused on focusing electrodes and then passed through the vertical and horizontal deflection plates, and then it goes on to the fluorescent lamp. The third part is the deflection plates. The electron beam, after leaving the electron gun, passes through two pairs of deflecting plates. The pair of the plate that produces the vertical deflection is called a vertical deflecting plate or Y plates, and the pair of plate which is used for horizontal deflection is called horizontal deflection plate or X plates. The next part is the fluorescent screen for CRT. The front of the CRT is called actually the face plate. It will be flat for screen sized up to about 100 mm into 100 mm. The screen of the CRT is slightly curved for larger displays. The faceplate is formed by pressing molten glass into a mold and then annealing it. The inside surface of the faceplate is coated with Pasper crystal. The Pasper converts electrical energy into light energy. That is by the fact that when an electronic beam strikes Pasper crystal, it rises their energy level, and hence light is emitted during phosphorus crystallization. This phenomenon is actually called as fluorescence. We all know that. And the final part is the glass envelope. It is a highly evacuated conical shaped structure. The inner surface of the CRT, which is present between the neck and the screen, is coated with a material called as aquadag. Actually, the aquadag is a conducting material. It acts as a high voltage electrode. The coating surface is electrically connected to the accelerating anode and hence help the electron to be the focus. Let's move on to the working of cathode ray oscilloscope. When the electron is injected through the electron gun, it passes through the control grid. The control grid controls the intensity of electron in the vacuum tube. That is, if the control grid has high negative potential means, then it allows only a few electrons to pass through it. Thus, the dim spot is produced on the lightning screen. But if the negative potential on the control grid is low, then the bright spot is produced. Hence, we can understand that the intensity of light depends on the negative potential of the control grid. So after moving the control grid, the electron beam will pass through the focusing and accelerating anodes. The accelerating anode will be at high positive potential, and so they converge the beam at a point on the screen. After moving from the accelerating anode, the beam comes under the effect of the deflecting plates. So when the deflecting plate is at zero potential, the beam produces a spot at the center. If the voltage is applied to the vertical deflecting plate, the electron beam focuses at the upward, and when the voltage is applied horizontally, the spot of light will be deflected horizontally. So this is what we can understand from the working of a cathode ray oscilloscope. Finally, I want to conclude this lecture by telling the applications of cathode ray oscilloscope. CROs are mainly used in measurement of voltages, currents, and analysis of waveforms, and also measurement of phase and frequency. Thank you.